Hi, I hope you are all well. I got this idea and I've watched obviously a couple of these kinds of videos on YouTube of doing and things I've learned in 27 years because I just turned 27. I'm growing up and it is scary. Okay, but anyway, lesson number 1. A good life is nothing without good mental health. A good life is nothing without good mental health. Because when you are mentally unwell, you could have $1 billion in your account, all the connections, all like all the clothes, all the cars, all the houses, all the time, but your brain will be unable to see and appreciate all the good fortune you have. So, and obviously now there's progress in how people are valuing and approaching their mental health, and also dealing with someone who is experiencing some kind of mental health breakdown. But yeah, take care of yourself. And also, do whatever you need to do in order to maintain. Yes, I want my necklace to show. Do whatever you need to do to maintain your mental health, like how you would have your regimen or your routine for your physical well-being, like to maintain either your weight or your flexibility, mobility and stuff like that. Have your routines for your mental health to support yourself, to feel supported, to feel healthy, to maintain your health, to build mental resilience. I am responsible for my feelings. No matter how much someone offends me, I am the one experiencing the feelings, however intense they are, how long they last, how it affects everything else, my interactions with the person who offended me and stuff like that. I am responsible for all that, and I am responsible for my heart holding on to the offense or letting it go. And either one is fine. Either one is fine as long as it comes from you and you aren't, as long as it comes from me and I am not saying, oh, I will forgive when. If I choose to forgive, I need to forgive regardless of whether I've received an apology or not, regardless of whether the person who offended me realizes their offense or not, whether without my explanation. Because sometimes I could explain to someone, oh, that you did this and I didn't like it and this is how it sat with me, and they aren't gonna see where exactly and it also happens with me that I will do something and someone will say, oh, this is how this is how I received what you did and all of that. And in as much as I might verbally say, oh, sorry, in my head I might be thinking, I really don't see how that was in any way negative, because my intention wasn't malice or whatever, all of that. So at the end of the day, I am responsible for my feelings. However little money I have, the little that I have, I need to learn how to use responsibly. And that depends on whatever responsible looks and feels like in that season, in that month, in that quarter. But waiting for the day that I have a lot of money in order to save or invest is shooting myself in the foot, or it's pretty much enjoying my youth but being aware that I have a future. And even though the future, obviously I don't know it, number one, and it isn't guaranteed, but I cannot just say, oh no, I'll start when I'm 35 or whatever. And of course, there are stumbling blocks. Like, for years now, I've been trying to save up an emergency fund. And like, I'll save and then I'll create an emergency in my head. And these are never actually emergencies. It's just me either getting access to some experience and needing the money, or seeing something beautiful. And that is fine, because at the end of the day, right now, I'm still in a space where all my needs are met regardless of whatever is going on, which I am grateful for. But the building the habit and building the mindset of being responsible, not stingy, because there's no point in having money and being miserable. Not stingy, but just being responsible and being aware of your dream life or your goals and stuff like that. While you have little, so that when you have a lot, it's not like you don't end up being the story of those people who get $1 million and in a couple of months the million is finished, but there's nothing to show. So yeah. Number 4, know what you want. Even if, for me, there are certain areas of my life where I still don't exactly know what I want, but at least I have a vague idea. But knowing what the end goal of whatever it is that you are doing, whether it's fitness, faith, blah 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 blah, makes getting up early in the morning easier, because your brain is like, it's so cold, it's winter, I should stay in bed a bit longer. But then you're like, but I want to lose 10 kgs, and this, in my mind's eye, I see how good I'm gonna look with that 10 kgs off. So then you get up from the bed and it can be as small as, it can be as small as, I don't know, I can't think of an example now, but knowing what you want can be a small or a big thing, or it can be a vague or a detailed thing, although the more the detail the better. But as I said, there are certain areas of my life where I don't know. I vaguely know what I want, and I'm working on creating a more detailed picture in my head, because I know that that having that detailed image where, like, if I close my eyes and I call it to the forefront, it's like boom, a vivid 3D scene of some sort. It inspires me every time. So yeah, learn and exercise the power of no. You have the freedom to say no, even if it makes you look like the bad guy. You don't want to say yes to things that you genuinely don't want, because it ends up creating resentment inside of you, and just anger and other negativity. I'm talking about things that you have a choice over, where no is an option. Use it and forget about how people will perceive you, or you're gonna appear less helpful or less kind. Isn't it you know that you are a kind person? I'm trying to fluff up my wig. You know that you are. Let me just sit down. You know your character. Okay, you saying no doesn't change your character. And also, I think that you saying no also allows people to understand you. And that goes on to the next lesson. Be okay with being misunderstood, misperceived, and thus misrepresented. Okay? The thing is, what I've realized is that people will never perceive me the way that I perceive myself. Like they never seem to, even if I were to I explain my point of view or something, at the end of the day, that this other person is this other person, they themselves. And just like how they can misunderstand me, I can misunderstand them. Even me thinking that they've misunderstood me could be a misunderstanding in itself, a misunderstanding of them. So be okay with being misunderstood and misrepresented as a result. Create routines. Create as many routines for as many things as you want. Automate as many in your brain. Automate as many things as you can. Oh, look at that. Oh. My night routine, I've set it up that no matter how bad the day was, once I've gone through it, and by the time I get into bed, my mood, my mindset has improved by at least 1%. Okay. Create routines that support you. Look at my 2 nails, they came off. That's one of the sad things about persons, obviously, that sometimes they just randomly come off. So I don't know what was where I left off, so it's lesson number whatever. If you are feeling feelings of overwhelming feelings, whether it's overwhelming excitement, overwhelming anger, overwhelming frustration, just something that if an emotion that is making you, that is so intense that you are almost shaking, shut up and go clean. if your house is already clean, rearrange furniture. And then once you've cleaned, then address whatever it is that needs to be addressed. Another lesson: don't shop while you are sad, because I personally end up just, okay, this is gonna sound so crazy, obviously, because I'm about to say, oh, I have great taste, so barely whatever I buy. But I think that that's when impulsive purchases are made, when I'm feeling sad and I need that hit of joy. Yeah. Don't shop when you're sad. You most probably didn't need whatever item you're about to swipe on. Your closet wasn't missing it. You weren't feeling like, oh, it would make life easy, and it's most probably not even practical.